Wait. Huh?
Error.
Whatever. There have been many poorly written applications lately. Ah, you're here.
Paimon never forgets about meals, even if... that's not what Paimon meant at all.
I'm a little confused, actually.
Hey, not you too!
Jokes aside, I've got some good news. After taking a look, the doctors have let me know that it shouldn't be too difficult to extract the thorns, which means that everyone should be able to recover after a period of rest. As for their mental recoveries, most are making good progress as well.
You sure got everything taken care of, right?
I try my best. After all, it's my duty to take care of everything that happens within my territory. Please, go ahead. Ah, that's a bit of a long story. I once had a similar experience. It had to do with the host family I lived with as a child. I was an orphan, adopted by a couple with a great deal of love in their hearts. I had many siblings, and we all adored each other. Once we were older, Mom and Dad would turn us over to be individually adopted by families of greater means, and go on to adopt more young children. They were perfect parents. Or so I thought.
And then?
And then, I found out we were merely raised as livestock. Once we had reached a certain age, our parents would bring us to the market for sale. All children that were sold would leave the house, and nobody would know what became of them. Did you know I once considered myself an extremely... I was also not the first to find out about the truth. All those who found out before me were simply added to the disposal pile. I could never shake the feeling of irony every time I juxtaposed their tragic ends against our parents' adoring smiles. Yes, like the society, my parents created a facade of joy, lied to satiate their desires. They did all of that, but never could, but I did. So in the end, I killed them. And and set all of the remaining children free.
Ah.
My methods were extreme, yes. But I was still a teenager at the time. I'd been betrayed by those I trusted most. My doubt and helpless anger pushed me forward until I got what I deserved. It's all right. You don't have to tell me what you think. The least I can do is to make sure that the same tragedy will not happen again in my new home.
Sorry to disturb you, everyone.
Oh, it's a vis and facade. Are you two feeling better yet?
It was all because you arrived in time.
We came here on impulse today because we were hoping that you'd be able to lend us a hand. You're great.
Please, go on right ahead. I'll do my best to help. Within reason, of course.
It's... I'd like to be... wed.
You're getting married?
Yeah, we met each other through the society and both fell into Dugier. But even during our time there, we never doubted each other. We always believed that Dugier was and after this incident, we've come to believe that we've found the one for the rest.
You could say we managed to make the best out of a bad situation, but we're still both prisoners. And we also aren't sure if the fortress is the best place to host something so celebratory. So we are just wondering, is our request a bit too out of line?
You're right in that the fortress has never hosted a wedding before. But that's no reason to say no, is it? I'll help you make the arrangements. If you need anything special shipped in from the surface, just say the word.
We can't thank you enough, Your Grace. We are actually also planning to stay here after the conclusion of our sentences.
Yeah, we've already made tons of... And we have full confidence in the fortresses.
Your trust is the highest form of praise.
Hey, loosen up a bit. Shouldn't you be the happiest man in Teyvat to hear that people would like to stay of their own free will?
Yeah. I'll always take a genuine expression of faith over any obligation to obey.
Melusines are beautiful creatures. They are the pride of Fontaine. Be sure to befriend them and cause them no
Enjoy
harm.
the blessing of Lesser Lord Kusanali. An Aishan blessing now 10% off.
Lady Farina?
What's Lady Farina doing here?
Hello, all. Allow me to explain. As of today, Miss Farina will be supporting our production of The Little Oceanid in the role of artistic consultant. These two over here are the ones that made it possible. You bet! That was the trial of the century!
You helped bring our director's murderer to justice. We can't thank you enough.
Oh, please don't mention it. We're just here to join in on the fun.
So, you were saying The Little Oceanid?
Yeah, that's the name of our final show. It's an unfinished script left behind by our director. One of our greatest regrets is that she never got to complete it. So, if we can bring it to the stage and make it a successful show, we—
Wait, but if it's not finished, then...
Yeah, we've been battling issues on every front, trying to realize this dream. The protagonist of the story is a young Oceanid who transforms herself into human form, despite the protests of her family. She longed to live just like any other human. And sure enough, she found friendship and even love. But one day, her true identity was exposed, and her world came crashing down around her.
So far, so good. A classic tale.
that's one of the issues we've been trying to deal with. Unfortunately, this was as far as the director got with her script. We need a proper ending so we can bring this musical to the stage. But people have different opinions on which direction to take it in.
We still haven't decided between a happy ending or a true-to-life tragedy.
By true to life, you mean the director's sudden disappearance?
Yeah, like they say, truth is stranger than fiction. But then there's the question of whether we really want to use the stage to—
Exactly. A lot of the time, people come to watch a show just hoping for some light entertainment. And one last thing. We're still waiting on confirmation from two of— The first is Paulo, who plays the protagonist's lover. He's locked himself away to focus— The other is Villemont, who plays the main antagonist. He did write to us, promising that he'll be there for the final performance.
Huh. Although, now that we have Miss Farina—
What opportunity?
Maybe you're unaware, but—
Our director was constantly singing your praises.
Oh, stop! You're making me all flustered. I suspect the reason they're dragging their feet. But one by one, all the obstacles are being removed.
Makes sense. Okay, priority number 1, let's check in with Paulo and see where he's at with the ending. He went back to Poisson a few days ago. Said that staying in a...
I thought the last thing his friend would want right now would be to take visitors.
Yeah, maybe he could use some company.
Poisson? Nothing. I suppose my presence will... So, allons-y. To Poisson!
If I remember correctly, this is where he's staying.
Who is it?
It's me. Is the script ready?
You came all the way here for that?
All right. Forget that for now. Just come on out. We've got some great news.
Nice try. Look, just give me some time.
Okay then. Look.
So, as expected, he's missed the deadline.
The ending is one of the most important parts of the show. Even once he's done, it isn't final until...
Someone told me they'd just seen you in Poisson. I assumed it was a case of mistaken identity, but...
I was wondering if we might run into her.
So, you're here for Paolo? Looks like he could be a while, so feel free to take a stroll around town in the meantime.
Oh, it's okay. We can just wait here.
Thank you for being so considerate, Miss Navia. That sounds wonderful. We'll take that stroll. Get over here, you! How oblivious are you?
How are things in Poisson now?
Things are on the mend, but it's a slow process. Some people may never recover from the trauma they experienced.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Please, must our conversations take such a depressing turn every time we meet? We all have painful memories, but we don't have to let them cloud everything we do. And if you're trying to make a new start, perhaps it's best if you don't bring up the past all the time.
Thank you for your words of comfort. But for now, at least, I think I should stay with the way I'm feeling for a while.
It's okay. These things take time. Moving on from a painful experience is easier said than done, which brings me to why I'm here. I thought you should probably know that not everyone here is ready to forgive and forget after the Hydro Archon's inaction in the face of catastrophe. To avoid upsetting the peace, I told the townspeople that everyone here is a member of the theater troupe, and that you are just an actress playing the role of Farina. It's not a perfect solution, but hopefully it means you won't have to lie low while you're here.
That's so thoughtful of you, Navia.
Well, what do you expect? I am the courageous and considerate president of Spina di Rosula after... Anyway, that was all. Look after her now.
Off we go then. Let's take a look up there. I don't have any friends that I can be frank and honest with, so maybe she's right. I'm so grateful that Miss Navia was so understanding. To be perfectly honest, I didn't know if I was ready to meet her. It's always easiest to just run away from your problems.
So that's why you were nervous when they brought up Poisson.
Yeah. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared of coming back. Still, I felt it was something I had to do. As I was saying before, I'd be overjoyed if the people here could find it in their hearts to forgive me. Yeah, I can tell people are watching me. I'm sure some people here see the idea of someone coming to Poisson dressed as the Hydro Archon as extremely disrespectful. I used to be terrified of the gaze of other people. I guess I wasn't quite ready for this after all.
I'm surprised you're making yourself go through all of this.
I can't let myself see only the things I want to see. How would that make me any different from before?
Look! There seems to be a crowd gathering over there.
Probably time we made a move. How about we check out Spina di Rasula's ship? We should have a view of the whole of Poisson from there. I'm sorry. You probably just wanted a relaxing stroll.
We don't mind. It's actually refreshing to see a different side of you.
Great. Well, I appreciate your company, so please don't disappear just yet. I don't know whether you can tell, but as I stand here by the ship, I can't get the images one after another. People were taken by the water. They thought their god would protect them. They had absolute faith, and all the while, I played my part to perfect, but then the floodwaters finally came.
You shouldn't look at it like that. You were only doing...
I've had to go through so many moments like that. Eventually, I realized I had nothing left except the truth. Fortunately, we were able to... Everyone rose to their responsibilities, but on some level...
Paimon would have never imagined you'd see it that way.
Reward? I guess so. Back then, I didn't even dare to dream about how I was scared of someone recognizing me for who I truly was. Believe in the Farina you see on stage. She is the one you can trust. I had to keep all my feelings, all my curiosity about life to myself. That's what I really meant when I said I'm no good at maintaining relationships.
So that's where you were coming from. Paimon...
Could you please get off my case? I don't know what's gotten into you today. I'm making an effort here. You could at least... I do. I once had nothing but the truth, and now, at least the choice is in my hand. All right, it's about time to head back.
Sure! Okay, let's head back and check it out.
Didn't you say you needed to watch what you eat? You're supposed to be cutting down on fried foods.
Come on. It's not every day we get to dump. Anyway, my character doesn't need to be slim and good looking.
Are you kidding me right now? I've spent my whole life battling the effects of ill health, and it kills me to watch you will-
Oh no, looks like they're arguing again. We're back! Could you maybe put your differences aside for a moment?
You're back. We've been enjoying Paulo's nearly done. We should...
Great! So you were discussing your characters, right? We heard she's playing the Oceanid who turns into a human girl. What about you?
Me? I'm an Oceanid too.
He was originally supposed to take the form of a crane, but he... outgrew that role.
Sorry.
The boar's not a bad character, actually. He's the one who raises the little Oceanid, yes?
That's right. He has some pretty memorable lines, too. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and
Wait, that sounds kind of familiar.
It's the most important line in the whole script. I think it's a symbolic statement about our director's life and legacy. She kept quiet about all the trials and tribulations she faced in running our troupe, allowing us to devote ourselves fully to performing. It was only after she was gone that we realized how tough her job really was.
You mentioned earlier that the troupe is like your home.
Yeah. I was born with an incurable illness, and once my I spent some years taking whatever work I could find and trying. It was like that until the director found me one day. She told me I had a great voice, and she took me under her wing, taught me to both sing and act, helped me find more for my...
She sounds like a really incredible person.
She really was. She gave everything she had to her troupe and the people. I was a lost child too when she found me. As the child of a murderer, my parents, the other kids were always picking fights with me. They'd say things like, one day, I got beaten up so bad that...
Let me guess. Fortunately, the next person you ran into was the director.
Yeah. For the first time in my life, I was somewhere I felt safe. And I promised myself I'd stay here until the day
you hoped would never come.
Oh, you're finally done? Get your butt over here.
Farina? The Farina? Oh my god, how did you manage to wrangle that?
Please, the honor is all mine. I was profoundly moved to hear about your troupe.
Same here!
Even so, this is just... Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I'll try to calm down. Ah, yes, the script, of course. Let me give you a rundown of how the story unfolds in my version of the script. I'm sure you're already familiar with the beginning of the story. She finds love and friendship in the bustling city. But then, the people start to notice that all the fresh water in the surrounding area is slowly disappearing. The soil is becoming arid. Plants and flowers are withering. The little Oceanid, Cleo, and her lover decide to do something about it and investigate the truth of the matter together. In the end, they discover that all the waste and pollution created by humans over the years has caused the fresh water to flee the land.
Consciousness? You mean the water is sentient?
Water as a conscious entity.
Since the little Oceanid is a water spirit, she immediately understands how the water is feeling. She then tells her lover about her true identity. Her lover accepts her for who she is and works with her to find a way to bring the water back. The little Oceanid is accused of being directly responsible for...
And then?
In the end, she makes the brave decision to...
Huh? But didn't they all treat Cleo like a villain? Why would she want to save them after that?
Well, she mainly wanted to save her lover, plus everyone who'd stood up for her.
Through her love for her human partner, she was able to find an even greater love.
There's actually something else that bothers me. You know the protagonist is supposed to represent the director, right? And if we're serious about dedicating the... What about if... the little Oceanid is...
That sounds like too cruel of an ending to me.
That ending would be a perfect mirror to Director Aureli's death. Both arbitrary... On the day when she went missing, Director Aureli had instructed us all, somewhat out of the blue, to leave the court of Fontaine and wait for her outside the city. We waited and waited at the rendezvous point. We looked for her. The Gardamex...
The director was the kindest soul in the world.
But doesn't the way she suddenly told you to leave the city suggest that maybe she...
I've been trying to follow up on that ever since, but all my...
Vilma?
Yeah. He's been...
Grief? Because...
What?
It's time to be upfront with you all. I did tell her how I felt. She said that we were all like brother. Not that it came as a shock or anything. I said, maybe one day in the future. Well, maybe then she could. And now... So if I'm the one writing this ending, then...
In that case, you have to straighten... We've all had our differences of opinion over the ending.
Well, if that's where we're...
Are you ready to face the truth?
Honestly, I'm I'm slightly terrified. Funny you should ask, though.
I certainly do. Come on, everyone.
This is tough going. Don't...
As if this journey wasn't tough enough already without a roadblock.
Don't worry. We should all be fine with the traveler here. We don't... wait...
We're just curious, that's all.
Yeah, but don't you remember why? The Hydro Archon willingly gave up all her power so it could be converted into Indemnitium. Miss Farina said so herself.
Precisely. As much as it pains me, unfortunately, I should just stay put.
That sounded so smug. Ugh, secondhand embarrassment is unbearable.
C'est la vie, indeed.
Aww.
Sorry to leave all the heavy lifting to you.
No worry, peace. Stay put.
The wind knows me. There is no escape. Torn to oblivion. Illusion shattered. Into the wind. There is no escape.
Go get him, Uruguay! Uruguay, you're up!
One with nature. Shine down. Inazuma shines eternal.
Bravo! Good show! You certainly live up to your reputation.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, the path is cleared now, so onwards and upwards.
Wind strider.
Vilma, are you there?
Huh? Oh, it's you guys. Wait, what's Lady for?
I can explain. We...
So, you think knowing the truth of... I care just as... If I open this can of worms now...
Viamant, avoiding the truth will not help unless you mean to suggest that
I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, Viamant. I used to think that my love for Aurelie was a point of shame. But now, I've made up my mind to put it, the little Oceanid cannot be complete unless we do justice.
This is why people think of you as not being... As you all know already, the troupe was... We took on side jobs when we weren't performing, but even then, the troupe's fine. So, anyway, one day after a show, a merchant came to me and offered us a huge sponsorship. It seemed like a win-win, so I said yes to it on the spot without consulting the director. The drink in question was synth.
Isn't that the drink peddled by the culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
I freaked out when I saw the boxes. And I told the director everything, but she didn't reprimand me for making the decision without consulting her. The merchant was furious. I was going to sort it on my own, but the director stopped me. She said that this was an issue, but things only got worse from there. The synth, I admit this whole thing was my mistake. I didn't dare to tell any of you the truth back then, and after the director disappeared, I got Aurelie killed.
Hey, don't say that.
You traitor! What do you mean? You were afraid. This was a life and death. How could you be?
Please, try not to get too worked up.
Yeah, listen to him. You need to
Stay calm. And he has the gall to try and high road us, claiming that he kept his mouth shut for this.
All I can say is I'm sorry. Truly. I'm just a coward who made an awful, terrible mistake that I can never take back in my life. So I can meet the director.
Get out of my sight.
That's enough! You've screamed and shouted at each other for long enough. Can you stop conflating the show on stage with your real-life relationships in the troupe? You keep saying that you want to use this final performance to pay tribute to your director and
You're right.
I'm sorry.
On stage, the lead role is the focal point of the audience's attention. And you're all used to seeing the director as the heart of the troupe. But in her own life, her greatest desire wasn't to be the center of attention. I can tell how much she loved you all, and how much she loved the troupe. What she wanted was to build a warm home for all of her brothers and sisters. I understand why you're trying to make her the hero of the story, but...
Yeah.
So think hard about what that means. And then think again about what you hope to achieve by arguing with each other. If you really hate each other and can't reconcile your differences, but you can't bring yourself to do that, can you? You cared. What are you laughing at? I don't see what's so funny.
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. It's just that, for a moment there, it felt like our director was back with us again. If she'd seen Paulo and Vilmont at each other's throats like that, she would have scolded them exactly like you did, in that same stern voice.
Really? But she sounded like such a gentle person.
Of course she was. Even her harshest lectures came from a place of kindness.
What you said,
I'm truly sorry.
It's all right.
So, the ending. What are we gonna do about it?
Clearly, everyone needs to take a step back for now and reflect on what really matters. The end of the story needs to focus back on Aurelie herself. She's the true star of the show.
What do you mean?
The Traveler is right. You once investigated that underwater synth base and recovered items belonging to the victims. If you could find anything that Aurelie left behind...
You really think that's possible?
I trust that nobody would object to the ending of the story being based on Aurelie's true feeling?
No.
Well, we'll leave this in your...
Come, let's pay a visit to the Palais Mermonia.
This scenery is wonderful. Time to go.
out to review some recovered items connected to victims of the serial disappearances case. But, that case has been closed for quite a while now. Still, since you were the ones who discovered and submitted the evidence in the first place...
So, this is all O'Reilly left behind.
Hey! It's full of script lines!
Let me take a look. Maybe there's something in here from after... Aha! I found something. To whoever discovers this diary, looks like she kept a detailed record of her captor's actions. If we'd had the chance to examine this notebook carefully back then, it would have been a conclusive piece of evidence proving Vashey's guilt.
Vashey took so many lives.
I guess O'Reilly must have written all of this down in the hope that her records would one day be of... wait, it cuts off. Her handwriting here gets patchier and more illegible by the line. Her final words are... I'll let you read them for yourself.
She was so terrified.
She may have been a mighty hero in the eyes of her troop, but I can't bear to think how painful and lonely her final days must have been. Wait. This part on the last page sounds strangely... If you become human, you...
Isn't that the most important line in the Little Oceanid?
Because I am an older sister to them.
Oh.
So she didn't regret her decision. Even as she sat in silence, I'm sure this is what the troop would have hoped to hear as well. She had their utmost trust. Let's go.
Follow the wind. Yeah.
She deserves a hero's farewell. If that's the only way to convey to the audience the courage and selflessness that she showed in the face...
Even in the last moments of her life, she was still leaving a trail for others to follow.
She did her best to protect as many people as possible. We know what choice our little Oceanid would have made now. I don't... Well, Vilmont, if we put the past aside for now...
I will channel all my regret and put it into my... I won't ask for your forgiveness, and you don't need to worry about my feelings.
Then it seems like we've reached a consensus.
Really? How can you be so sure when you've never even seen them perform before?
Don't underestimate my experience. After watching a countless number of musicals, if you want to move the audience with your music, you must fully commit and immerse yourself in your role. And aren't human emotions, love, hate, regret, and hope, just the most mesmerizing things in this world? I don't believe anybody could be more committed to bringing this story to life on the stage than they are now.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Miss Farina.
Then, let's not delay things any longer. We need to discuss the details of the ending and get it nailed down once and for all.
Actually, before that, I'd like to make a proposal. During the curtain call, please allow me to use the director's name instead of my own.
Huh? But then...
After all, this role was originally meant to be played by the director. Besides, a role commemorating her life should...
Well, if you're sure you're okay with that, I have no objection to it.
Now we're talking like a serious acting troupe. All right, I'll leave you to fine-tune your musical while I go and procure a stage.
Procure a stage?
Oh, it's okay. Our usual place doesn't need a reservation.
That place? Oh, don't be silly. For an extraordinary show, we need an extraordinary stage.
Whoa, wait, what?
No. That's never going to work. It's far too fancy for the likes of...
What are you afraid of? Surely you don't think that Aurelie's story is unworthy of the grandest stage in Fontaine.
No, that's not what I meant.
It is supposed to be your grand finale, right?
I have no problem with it then. I'll take your silence as a yes. Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Well, then don't disappoint me. If you mess this up, it'll reflect poorly on me too. Come on. We'll need to get the go-ahead from Nervilette. I know just where to find him.
During the final scene, maybe we should stop the music just before Cleo...
First Miss Farina, now the opera Epiclese? If only the director was still with us.
Hey, come on. There's no point in dwelling on that now.
Yeah, you're right.
Best of luck to you.
Time to go.
Hey, look at that. Looks like I guessed right.
You were just
I knew you'd be here.
I'm here merely for a short break. It has been a while, Miss Farina. And you too, traveler and...
I would like to book the Opera Epiclese for an event.
I understand. The process for booking the Opera Epiclese is complex. The story of the little Oceanid is most fascinating. I will say, however, that I am surprised to see your passion for the performing arts rekindled.
Huh? What do you mean?
Yes. And this is the first time that I've seen you like this since your departure from deityhood.
At first, I just felt bad about rejecting them. In the past, we sat in our high chairs in the court, giving our opinions on isolated cases, all while knowing very little about the human stories behind each and every... Maybe it's because I finally become an ordinary person and gained my freedom. But I've developed a great sense of curiosity about their lives.
I am truly delighted to see you find a new lease on life. Now that you've regained some confidence, have you had any thoughts regarding a return to the state?
Why would you suddenly ask a question like that?
Well, if the little Oceanid turns out to be a great success, it will no doubt become a classic. Many theater companies are certain to add it to their repertoire. The experiences and decisions of the protagonist, Cleo, are all modeled after your own. It would truly be a shame if you did not take this opportunity to allow audiences to enjoy your
Haven't I already made myself clear? I won't act or perform in any role ever again, nor do I think it is any great shame. There is no lack. This experience is a case in point. I must admit, though, I'm a little envious.
I see. Well, I'm glad to learn that you have found a role to play that you enjoy. I sincerely hope the show will serve as the grandest of finales.
Thanks, Nervalect.
You are very welcome.
Good news, everyone. It's done. Thanks to my eloquent and impassioned speech, we've had to fight every step of the way for this a touching story, a magnificent venue, and last but not least, a passionate and dedicated cast. Now, let's work together and
This is truly wonderful.
The sooner we can finalize the ending, the more time we'll have. Fiomali and I just went over some parts of the script and tweaked a few things. I think it's really going to resonate with the audience now.
Wow, you two had a construct.
Communication is vital to any good
Look at us. We've come so far.
It's amazing. Even though Farina's still being a bit of a
Please feel free to give us any comments or suggestions you have.
Hey, Loic, get over here. Time to practice the opening number.
Cursed Cleo. She stole the waters of life from us. She's a fraud, and she must pay for her crimes.
This has nothing to do with her. The ignorance and hatred of our people is to blame. How can we hope to win back the water's favor if we don't change our ways?
This guy could be useful. Take him hostage. If Cleo wants him back, she'll have to show herself.
Leave this place, oh little Oceanid, and never, ever look back!
everyone's really throwing themselves into their... If...
What should we do? It's almost time for her to take the stage!
Why? Why does it have to be now?
Hey, what's going on? You're due on stage any sec... Oh no, not again. But why? What about your new meds? Did they...
They've been getting less and less...
What? I thought they cure it.
I figured... whatever...
How could you do this to yourself?
I'm sorry.
You...
Miss Farina?
Say no more. If you're sick, you need to rest. I know what you're going to ask. Loic, your character has no more scenes, correct?
Oh, yeah. I think my scenes are all done. Although, I do have one more line, but I...
Please take Delphi back to her place to rest.
Thank you, Miss Farina.
Never mind. What's done is no one likes regrets. Myself included. Leave it to me. I've watched you rehearse so many times that I've learned Cleo's...
I do not doubt your acting skills, but please allow me to... What, in your opinion, is the reason Cleo shines so brightly?
It's her pure heart, despite all the pain and loneliness she had to endure.
Well said. I leave Director O'Reilly in your hands.
Get here!
She's not coming!
You're wrong. She's here.
Si je pouvais vivre dans l'eau, le monde serait-il plus beau? Me pardonneras-tu, ô chère mère? L'eau dans son courant fait danser nos vies, et la cité elle nourrit, ainsi que toi mon doux amour.
But what about your wish?
My wish...
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Le grand amour ne suffit pas, seul un adieu fleurira. C'est notre histoire de vie, douce et amère. Je suis, serai toujours là, à voir le monde et sa beauté, et ça ne changera jamais, jamais.
Is it just me? Or was that Lady Farina on the stage just now?
She hasn't been seen for a while now.
And she just appears out of nowhere? Gotta say, though, her acting skills are as superb as ever.
The little Oceanid, Cleo, played by Aurélie Fumont.
Wait, that's not her name. What's going on?
I don't know. Maybe it's just a doppelganger.
I've spent a lot of time out of the spotlight, and it's too bad that I had to break the one Still, it felt good.
Finally, we would like to give a special thanks to our artistic consultant and event coordinator, Miss Farina.
Hey, that's not what we agreed on.
Oh, so it was Farina after all.
She's back.
Honestly, what is he doing?
All right, calm down. Don't be mad. This was, after all, it's been the rule in Fontaine's.
Yes, I know the rule.
It's no big deal. What's the worst that—
Oh, yeah? Well, since you think it's so easy, you can sign them for me.
This is a great chat and all, but can we talk about that? Paimon flew over to where she was supposed to be and was about to drop the prop vision, and then suddenly, a real one popped out of thin air!
Oh, that. I've got no idea what happened there either. But hey, it worked pretty well, didn't it? I'll bet the audience has never seen such a realistic prop.
Wait, what about Dolphy? I wonder how she's doing.
Oh, let's go check on her as soon as we finish clearing the stage.
Yes. Plus, she'll definitely want to hear how the end of the show went. If nothing else, we can safely say that we accomplished what we set out to do.
Ah, you're back. She's doing okay. Her condition stabilized after taking some of her original medication. From experience, though,
How did the performance go?
You'll be glad to know it was fantastic! Also, you're not gonna believe what happened—
That's wonderful. I'm so sorry I failed to see it through to the end.
Don't worry about it. Like they told me after announcing my name, even though you couldn't see it through to the final scene, the audience...
Well, one way or another, I've had bad luck ever since I was born. So I never
blaming your bad luck again, are we? Maybe if you didn't push yourself past your limits so much.
Oh, don't you start. I don't have the energy to argue with you right now.
Aw, you two clearly care a lot about each other.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You mean we never stop arguing with each other?
So, any plans for the next step? After the brilliant performance you put on, you could capitalize on the rave reviews and license out the little Oceanid to the bit.
No, we should still disband.
Yeah, it's what we all agreed to.
After all that's happened, I should give you guys some space.
Hey, don't just walk off!
I still want to keep performing, so I might join another troupe. After watching Miss Farina's performance, I think I'm starting to understand our director's infatuation with musicals.
You should do it. It suits you.
Oh, so now you finally got your priorities in order. What about you, Miss Farina? Any future plans?
Well, frankly, I think a return to obscurity is no longer an option for me. You rather sealed my fate there with your special thanks at the end of the show.
Sorry.
It's quite all right. No need to apologize. What I meant, maybe Nervilette was right. Maybe Cleo is the right role for me. I still don't wish to pretend to be someone else, but I do have a desire to express myself. Yeah. There was once a time when but from now on, I want to spend my time learning real stories about real people. I want to watch them blossom, and I'm sure this is what captivated Director O'Reilly as well.
Sounds like you're ready to stop running from your true calling. The more you get out into the world, the more you'll discover what a fascinating place it is.
Then it's a deal. If a vision is a gift from the gods, then I should do my best to honor it.
I'm just finishing packing up. As soon as I'm done, I've got an interview with the Steambird to get to. Thanks to all your help, this show was more perfect than we ever could have hoped for. But most of all, I want to thank you for giving me the chance to finally say farewell to O'Reilly.
I mean, of course I have some regrets, but
There'll be plenty of opportunities in the future.
It's ironic to think that in my whole time as a god, and now that the gods have given me their blessing, is that how humans feel about it as well?
Now that the buzz is worn off, I feel ready to...
Into the wind. Illusion shattered.
Settle down.
nature.
Whether it takes me uphill, downhill, or out to the sticks, I get the goods from A to B. I'll even take him across the